Welcome to this presentation. My name is Wycliffe, and in this session, I want to share with you how to do spatial analysis inside RGEE. For example, you might have a feature collection which contains the borders of countries, and you just want to select particular or to filter out particular countries. For example, you can filter out countries that starts with the letter N, and then you have all of them. Or you might want to filter out countries that are having specific size of area or a certain attribute which is numeric, or countries that end with A or something like that, or countries that are within a particular bound. So let's see how this can be done in R. All right, so we'll start by loading the library, RGEE, and then we'll also load another library called map edit. All right, so we load that and that. And then as usual, we start by initializing our RGEE session. Okay, so we will be doing several analysis. The first one, I will start with spatial filtering. Okay. And then after spatial filtering, we will also do attribute filtering, e.g. equal to, so attribute filtering. This will include like if name is equal to a given figure or not equal to a given figure or in some list, right? After that attribute filter, we'll also do a numeric filter. So numeric filter. So those that are having a certain range of values in area or something. And then we will also do string filtering. That is based on the names in that attribute. Okay, so which dataset will we use? We will use global administrative layers, country boundaries. So level 1. Yeah, so this is country boundaries. Level 0, sorry, level 0. Okay, we copy that and we go back to our R session and then we load it. So we can call it world, but then we replace this dot with a dollar symbol. Okay. After that, maybe I expand this a bit so that we see all of it. If we visualize this, for example, we can say map $ add layer, and then we put in the world. We will see the map of all countries in the world, right? But let's say we want only to play around with countries in Africa. So what do? We go ahead and do spatial filtering, right? So for spatial filtering, we need geometries around which we do the filtering. So we can say our bounds is, we can draw features using map edit function. And then the features we draw, we will pass them as Earth Engine object, okay? So we use SF as EE function. So then when we come here, we just pick a drawing tool. And for the country of Africa, I will keep all countries that are within, which are touching this border, right? I mean, I'm just drawing a rough one. You might have a different spatial filtering extent of your choice, okay? So we have the bounds, the geometry around which we want to do our filtering. So for all these countries which are in the world, like Vietnam, Australia, Argentina, Brazil, we want only those that are within this spatial region. So what do? We pick our world. Okay, we can now call it Africa, for example. And then we say, this is the whole world, but we filter bounds, right? So when we filter bounds, we put in our geometry, right? So whatever is left here now, map add layer, will be, if we visualize this, will be countries that touch the borders which we set. Okay, somebody will say this is Italy and this is Spain and those are not Africa. This is Saudi Arabia, not Africa, Yemen. But yeah, it's based on the geometry we used, which was bounds, and it happened that it touched some of those borders because this was just a rough estimate. You can see clearly that we've left out all other countries that are not part of our geometry. So that's how you can do spatial filtering. You can also use other drawing tools like a point. You can just pick a point and then filter for that region, or you can draw a line or something like that, and all the spatial objects that touch that will be returned. Okay, so let's filter, for example, for a country that is equal to a specific name. So let's say you want to filter for Kenya. So for our Africa, we filter using an attribute. So at engine filter and then equal. So that is the function equal. So what equal? Admin 0 name equal to let's say Kenya. Oh, sorry. Kenya. So this will return a feature collection where admin 0 name in Africa is equal to Kenya. Okay, so when we run that, it runs successfully. Let me expand this a bit, or I can even enter this down. Okay, then we can map $, add layer, and the layer we are adding is filtered, which we expect just to be Kenya alone. Okay, so you can see it's only Kenya returned because we picked an attribute. And if you're wondering, how did I get this attribute? You can know the attributes in your feature collection. Let me check that very fast. So if we have Africa as our feature collection, then we can call for the first object, whichever country it is, all of them have same attribute. And then we look for property names. Property names, the names of its properties. And then it's a list. So from that list, we can get information, right? So that will tell us the properties of our object. And this admin 0 name is the property which we can use to filter by names of the first or the 0th administration level, which is just the whole country. Otherwise, if we wanted a lower level, like level 1, level 2, then we would use admin 1 or admin 2 accordingly. Okay, so that's how I got the attributes using property names. All right, so the next one we can use not equal to. So I will just copy this down here. Okay, so this one we can say equal, and then this one we can say not equal. So for those that are not equal, for example, we don't want country Kenya, or let me go to another country. Let's say Tanzania. So if we want to leave out Tanzania, then we pick Africa, but we filter where the attribute name admin 0 is not equal to Tanzania. So that means all other countries within my within this feature collection that do not have the name Tanzania. So we can visualize the remaining and we should see. Okay, Tanzania is in the attribute, it's called something Democratic Republic of the something, Jamhuri ya Tanzania. So let's go to another country with a simple name like Uganda. Uganda is Uganda, okay? So we can see that Uganda is now left out. It is not part of the rest, okay? So the name not equal to Uganda negates the equality. All right, so what about in list? How do we filter in list? So again, we'll paste whatever we copied up there for the whole of Africa, but now we filter using in list. So for the in list, we just use the in list function, which you can provide using in list, then admin name, and then you provide the list. So the list will contain. Let's say you want to leave out countries like Kenya, and then another one like Algeria, and then you also want to leave, sorry, you also want to leave Angola, okay? Like you don't want several countries. So it is not just, sorry, you want to keep several countries. Sorry for that, okay? So you provide them in a list and you can map them, okay? So you can see my selected countries in this list of Algeria, Kenya, and Angola. All right. So that is how we can filter for equality. If we just want a country, we can say Kenya. If we just want all the rest except one, we provide the name. And then if we want several, then we just provide them as a list. Okay. So we are going to a numeric filter where we filter by numbers. So we need to know which of our property names. So if I can go up here, which of the properties here is numeric? For example, shape area. This is the area of each country, but it is in degrees squared. It's not in hectares or kilometers squared or meter squared, but it's in degrees, okay? So again, we will paste our any of these like this. Sorry. And then from Africa, filter where EE filter range contains, right? Range contains. So range contains in the shape area, because we've realized it's the numeric. You cannot say range contains and you are providing a what? And you are providing a character or a string variable. So the range should be numeric, okay? So the range, let's say we start from maybe 100 degrees to maybe 200 degrees. So degrees squared. So those are the areas, okay? So we can filter for that, and then we can see which countries are these. So these are the giants of Africa, the big countries in Africa. You can see Libya is there, Sudan, Chad, Niger, Angola, Rwanda, South Africa. Kenya is outside there. Of course, Djibouti cannot come close. Lesotho is left out, but we have now the big countries of Africa. So whatever attribute you want to filter, for example, you want to, if you are working with data on population and you only want countries that have population between a certain figure and a certain figure, then range contains can help you to filter them out, okay? Other than range contains, maybe you want to filter for strings. So when we come to strings, for example, you want to filter countries that ends with, or whether the string contains, if they have something like year in their names. So admin 0 name, if it contains something like, something like year. I know there are some countries in Africa with year in them. So we can filter and visualize them. So which are these countries that have year in them? Like here you can see Algeria, Nigeria, Mauritania, Tanzania, Zambia, Namibia, Ethiopia, Arabia, Somalia, and Liberia or Liberia. This one is Mauritania or what? No, Gambia, the Gambia. So those, or Mauritania is up here. So those are the countries that have year in them. So if you are filtering your data and you're like, I remember that country had got something, a name like year, what was this country? Then you can just use string contains function to return them, right? Okay. What about if you are pretty sure that the name of the country was ending with some character? So you can say ends with, you can use ends with function, and then you say, for example, it was ending with go. Of course, I know there are countries in Africa that end with go. So up here we can say contains And then here we can say ends with, okay, right. So ends with go. I know there are countries in Africa that end, whose names end in go, and Togo is one of them, and Congo is another one. So those are the two countries that end in go, yeah? So you can get whichever, whether you wanted the year, those that end in year. In that case, which country was that? If there was a country with year, but that year was not the ending character, then it will be left out. I can see one, obviously, all of them. This is Spain, Gia, okay. But you get what I mean. If the country ends, the name of the country ends in GO, then they will be returned. Congo and Togo for Kenya, for Africa, generally. Okay, so other than ends with and contains, in terms of string, we can also filter what starts with. Because when we have ends with, then you can imagine we can't miss starts with. So string starts with. So starts with, let's say E. How many countries or which countries? I think the name of that country was starting with E, but I can't remember well the country, okay? Then it's easier for you to pick those countries. So in Africa, we have Egypt, we have Ethiopia, we have Eritrea next to it, and then Equatorial Guinea. Those are the four countries in Africa that starts with letter E in our bounding box. So we can filter for them, and then if you want to use them downstream in your analysis, you now have the data set safe for you to use. Okay, so those are the spatial analysis that I wanted to share with you today. So just have it in your mind that if you want to filter your feature collection, remember the object should be feature collection, then for the spatial filtering, you can draw features and then filter with those that touch it. So that is what led us to Africa. Otherwise, everything was global. And then if you want to filter only for one country, for example, Sudan, Kenya, South Africa, Chad, so whichever, you can use equal in the name. And then if you want to filter not equal to, then you use NEQ, NEQ. So if you want a country whose name is not Uganda, then you can filter that and get it, right? I think somebody might say, because we tried Tanzania and it failed. So how did I know that the name of Tanzania was not correct? So if we check Africa, for example, and then we say aggregate array, and then the array we want to aggregate is admin 0 name. Name. That returns a list, okay? Then we can get info of this list, okay? So that prints the names of all countries. So you can see the name for Tanzania. So it's Africa, then aggregate array, then the array you want to aggregate or the property you want to aggregate to print, and then you get info, and then you can see the name of Tanzania. So it was not just a Republic of Tanzania. But if we wanted Tanzania, then we could come to contains. String contains admin name Tanzania, or we can just say even tan, and it will return for us Tanzania, if we are sure that, yeah, it has got tan, but the exact name is not Tanzania. It is the Democratic, how does it go? This country. United, in fact, it starts with United Republic of Tanzania. Okay. So yeah, so we can use that. You can sort these if you are searching and it's taking you too long to search for the name, then I think we can sort them. Yeah, so they are now in alphabetical. Ooh, there is a country in Africa. Okay, maybe because our boundary box went outside Africa, so there is a country somewhere called ABA could be an island, then Algeria, Angola, the rest. So Tanzania, Uganda, United Republic of Tanzania, down there. Okay, sorted. Perfect. If you like this, if you wish to use this in your analysis, please remember to cite the data sources you're using. For example, global from FAO. Remember to cite them accordingly. Okay, plus the packages you're using in your analysis. If you wish to get this code and try it yourself, I'll leave this link to my GitHub repository where I will host this code in the description of this video. Feel free to go to that GitHub repository, grab the script, and enjoy coding with it. Okay, so if you like this, share it with people who are struggling with this kind of filtering of their feature collection, especially if they don't want to use it in the coding platform for Google Earth Engine and they want to enjoy doing this kind of analysis within R. Okay, share with them, like, and you're free to subscribe if you wish to get more of these kinds of analysis. Okay, thank you and happy coding.